Warning. The following podcast relies heavily on the overusage of big words to make its hosts feel smarter than they actually are. If you choose to continue, you may encounter such words as diegetic, parallax, and donkey testicles. Listener discretion is advised.
Highbrow with a touch of
anarchy!
Excellent. Look at us now all together again for the first time again.
For the last time.
What? Okay.
I thought you were quoting Spaceballs, sorry.
Oh, hey-oh. Hey, this is Kich-uhn Law-jick, first episode. I'm MacDonald.
I'm Josh.
I'm Kyle.
And this is going to be a wild ride.
today's topic, integrity.
To get us started here, we're going to pass it over to Josh. Do you have any opinions on the subject?
Well, there is the Truman Show. That's definitely an area we don't want things going. I don't know. I mean, obviously you don't want to go insane. But
well, define insane.
Putting a guy into a situation for his entire life, creating a lie like that, or just kill killing people, or just. I mean, there is something to admire about being dedicated to your craft, but at the same time, you don't want to be delusionally destructive to the people around you. Obviously, and I'm not sure how often that happens. I don't hear too many examples of that outside of fiction.
All right, well, Kyle, what do you have to say about the subject?
There was something magical about the perfect take. See, getting that perfect take, getting that one moment.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough to really draw the line because it's all about specifics, I guess. You have guys like we were talking about this before the podcast. You have guys like Kirk Cameron who is so dedicated to his own morality that he refuses to kiss anyone who isn't his own wife on or off set.
Yeah.
But then again, you have directors like Werner Herzog who was willing to put actors at gunpoint to keep them on the set. Was willing to actually drag a boat across a continent. But I think nowadays that may not be necessary. I mean, we've reached to a point in special effects technology with CGI, with all that we may not actually have to drag a boat across a continent.
I hope not.
Yes. You can make pretty damn good simulacrums. So we may not actually need, if you just want the image. If you just want that image, you may not actually have to do it anymore. We are reaching a point in film where it's become more of a painterly style than just, photography.
I really hope not. I'm sorry, but somehow I just don't believe a computer's ever going to be able to completely replace actually having something tangible on screen. I'm sorry, Avatar looked great, but I don't want every movie to look like that from now on.
Neither do I. I'm not saying we need to create entire planets out of CGI, but post-production CGI I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have CGI as the gimmick, then that's something I can't stand.
Coming down to integrity, there are so many instances where this is happening, where directors or the film crew, under the direction of the director, really put in danger their crew. Think about The Exorcist. Without a doubt, one of the finest movies, one of the greatest movies, one of the most frightening movies ever made. In order to capture that, intensity, William Friedkin made some very harsh choices. There was a scene in which the main actress, Ellen Bernstein, was getting yanked from the bed. She was on a harness, and she had a stunt team that was actually pulling her away from that. Now, she, after her first couple of takes, she was finding that it was really hurting. So she approached the stunt team and said, "Could you just not do it so hard? It's starting to hurt, okay?" After she left, the director approached the same team, said, "All right, this time, really yank her."
I love the way you said that line. Really?
That That sounded vaguely sexually deviant.
Yeah.
To this day, Ellen Bernstein actually has permanent back injury.
Is it Burston?
Bernstein, yeah, sorry.
Well, I think I think it's kind of interesting. We do tend to sort of romanticize the idea of directors being that psychotically devoted to their art, like in films like Cecil B. Demented, or even in Truman Show, where technically the demented filmmaker is the bad guy, but he's also one of the most interesting characters in the film. Just the idea of directors going completely insane with dedication to their art, which is, like I said, an idea we often like in fiction, but in reality, we'd probably be scared out of our minds.
Yeah. Think of Hitchcock with referring to his actors as meat puppets.
Well, actually, I think the quote was, someone accused him of saying that actors were cattle, and he responded with, no, what I actually said was actors should be treated like cattle.
Oh, that makes it so much better. No wonder Janet Leigh has psychotic scarring from being in Psycho.
Well, if there is that tension on set, it can lead to, I think there is some value in it if it creates an artwork that does last in people's memories, because, I mean, if you have a tough shoot, I've tried acting myself, I've been through tough rehearsal processes, and, a tough shoot, it's temporary.
Yeah.
If you get a good film, it's eternal. One thing that comes to mind is the shooting of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
One of the toughest shoots I've ever heard of. The guy who played, I can't remember the character's name, but he was the first hitchhiker they come across who cuts his hand. He later said that was the roughest experience in his entire life, and he was a Vietnam veteran.
Wow.
Like, the guy who played Leatherface was actually forced not to wash his clothes, and so he just ended up smelling so bad that he was forced to eat apart from the rest of the cast. There was one part, like at the very end, when the last survivor is being taken in by the cannibals, I guess.
Yeah.
And they actually had to cut her finger because the fake knife that spread out blood didn't work.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a tough set, and it's an insane director, but that horror, that tension, that's there on screen. And I think there is some value into a work that sticks with you like that forces your mind into a certain place, that expands your own mind space, if I can get away with using that phrase.
On the flip side of that, it's all well and good to talk about Stanley Kubrick, Alfred Hitchcock, Werner Herzog, William Friedkin, Ridley Scott, people who have consistently made landmark films and have had remarkably difficult, legendarily difficult film sets to work on. However, what happens when the film that you're working on ends up being not a masterpiece? There's a story about a director was working with children, which is remarkably difficult to do under normal circumstances. But in this particular case, he had the child with a live tiger. Now they'd done rehearsals in order to get the child up to about, I think it was 20 feet away, and the child was fine with this. A little wary, but still fine with it.
Yeah.
On the day when they were actually going to shoot, without telling the child, and I think even without telling the parents, they moved that tiger. I mean, it was a trained tiger, but it was still a live tiger within 10 feet. The child pissed his pants. Terrified at this point, like, as psychological scars, no doubt. That movie was the Twilight Zone movie.
Oh.
So, final thoughts, quickly, Joshua.
I think as long as you don't kill anybody, do what you gotta do.
Final thoughts, Kyle.
I'm also against murder. There's a magic in the perfect shot, as long as you keep a somewhat cool head. That shot is the goal.
Yeah.
And my final thoughts on the subject. We all love these insane stories about insane directors and insane experiences and horrendous, hellish shoots, but it's better to have a good film than a great film where someone dies. And I think that's about it.
I'm Kyle Kallgren.
I'm Joshua Jordan Bell.
I'm Karen Demsko.
And I'm B.D. MacDonald.
Good night, yous lugs. I love insane actors. They're so quirky.
Mm-hmm.
Quirky.
They're the opposite of people.
Yeah.
Highbrow with a touch of
Anarchy.